Have you ever looked at someone and thought, why does everything seem to go their way, even when they are not trying that hard? Have you ever stared out your own life and wondered, I try to be a good person, so why do problems keep coming one after another? Welcome back. Today we are going to walk into a topic that many people feel but rarely understand clearly. Why some lives feel smooth and supported, while others feel like walking uphill with a heavy stone on the back. Is it really just luck? Is it something decided by the heavens that you can never touch? Or are there deep patterns of cause and effect, 10 kinds of good and bad actions, that quietly build the road beneath your feet day after day? In Buddhist wisdom, your life is not a random accident. It is a living field of karma, a mirror reflecting what you have been planting in thought, word, and action for a very long time. Some seeds ripen quickly, some ripen slowly, some you planted this morning, and some might have been planted long ago. Today we will not discuss this as cold theory. You will sit in the middle of everyday life and see how certain ways of thinking and behaving naturally bring more ease, and how other ways naturally invite more suffering, even if on the surface they lack clever. Imagine two children growing up in the same town. Their houses are not far apart. They go to the same school. Their names are Jason and Leo. Their families are not rich, but not starving either. From the outside, if you looked only at their surroundings, you might say they started from a similar line. But the seeds planted in their hearts and the habits in their families are very different. Those invisible differences slowly shape two very different destinies. Jason grows up hearing his parents say things like, "The world is cold. If you do not take advantage of others, they will take advantage of you. If people are always used, do not be stupid." At the dinner table, they often laugh at other people's misfortune. When a neighbor loses a job, his father says, "Serves him right. You is always showing off. Let us see how he lives." If someone comes to ask for help, Jason's parents first check, what benefit is there for us? If there is no obvious gain, they say they are busy, even when they are not. When they give reluctantly, with a tight face, then complain about it afterwards. They constantly tell their children, money is hard to earn, do not waste anything on others. His home is not perfect, but there is a different tone. His parents also know that life is hard, but they say things like, we do not have much, but if we can help a little, we should. Today we help. Tomorrow someone might help us. Even if no one helps us, it still feels better to open the hand than to close it. When an elderly neighbor falls ill, Leah's mother cooks a bit more and sends food over. When a school-aged family struggles to pay for books, this father quietly contributes a little without announcing it to everyone. They cannot help materially. They at least speak kind words, bless the person, or simply listen. They often tell Leo, do not only ask, what can I get today? Ask also, what can I give today? Even just a smile or a kind word is something. Both boys watch and learn. They are not only listening to words, they are absorbing habits. Jason absorbs the habit of guarding, calculating, taking advantage, laughing at others when they fall. Leo absorbs the habit of sharing, caring, feeling the suffering of others as connected to his own. Many years later, Jason and Leo are adults. Now you can see the ripening of those 10 kinds of good and bad causes that Buddhist teachings talk about. The 10 directions in which your choices slowly tilt your fate. The first cause is your intention toward others. Jason's basic attitude is, well, people are dangerous. Protect yourself. If I give, I'll lose. If I take, I win. When he walks into a room, his mind automatically scans for advantage. Who is useful to me? Who is a threat? Who can I ignore? When someone shares good news, he feels jealousy before he feels joy. When someone shares difficulties, his first thought is, well, that is their problem. His basic attitude is different. He also thinks about his own needs, but he carries a deeper habit. Everyone is struggling with something. If I can make their load a little lighter, that has value. When he enters a room, he notices who seems lonely, who seems nervous, who seems overwhelmed. He does not analyze it like that in words. He simply feels it. Over time, this difference in intention quietly attracts different kinds of people and different kinds of opportunities. Jason, with his suspicious and self-centered aura, tends to attract others who think like him. He make quick deals, joke harshly, and talk a lot about how to win and how to play people. When things are going well, they bring together and praise each other's cleverness. But when trouble comes, they put responsibility around, blame each other, and leave when there is no more advantage. This, with his more open and helpful aura, also attracts his kind of people. It may not be glamorous, but they tend to have more sincerity. When things are good, they enjoy together. When problems come, some of them step forward, lot pack. This leads to the second cause, how you speak. Ramath is one of the strongest karmic engines in your life. Jason has the habit of farp speech. He likes sarcasm. He feels powerful when he can say something that makes others look small. He gossips freely, ruins reputations casually, and spreads negativity like a virus. When he isn't happy, he lashes out with words that stab. He feels justified, because Nyan just telling the truth. Or while people laugh with him, enjoy the entertainment, but slowly, they also begin to sense, if he can talk like this about others, one day he will talk like this about me. Trust quietly dies, support quietly shrinks, and he needs others. Some suddenly remember that they are busy. You is not a say. He also complains sometimes. He has a habit of holding back the most poisonous words, and he is tempted to gossip. Lee occasionally remembers, if I repeat this, what good will it bring? Will I be helping or harming? When he sees someone fall, he stops himself from celebrating it. He tries to make his speech a place of warmth rather than coldness. He praises sincerely, thanks often, apologizes when he is wrong, and avoids making promises he cannot keep. Over time, people feel safe around his words. They are more willing to recommend him, support him, share information with him. Your speech is the bridge with a wall between you and the world. If you constantly use your tongue to cut, do not be surprised when fewer bridges are left and more walls remain. The third cause is generosity versus tiredness. Money and resources are a big playground for karma. Jason clings, even when he has enough. He feels like he does not. He lines. He remembers every cent and every favor with a tense mind. If anyone is late in paying back, he quickly labels them as evil. He might succeed in getting some money, but he is constantly worried about losing it. His heart never rests. He respects money too. He does not waste, but he allows it to flow. He sets aside a small part of his earnings, even if it is very small, to be used consciously for giving. Sometimes it is a donation, sometimes helping a relative in need, sometimes paying for a friend's meal without making a show. And he spends on himself. He enjoys it. And he gives. He enjoys it. In Buddhist terms, Jason is planting seeds of scarcity, fear, and mistrust around money. You is planting seeds of sufficiency and circulation. Over time, these seeds grow into very different trees. One mind becomes more and more closed and anxious, even if the bank account increases. The other mind becomes more and more relaxed, even if there are ups and downs. The fourth cause is honesty versus deception. Trust is a kind of wealth. It is built slowly and lost quickly. Jason is used to bending the truth. He exaggerates achievements, hides mistakes, takes credit for others' efforts, and downplays his own runs. He thinks, everyone lies a little. This is how you get ahead. For a while, this seems to work. He gets some short-term benefits. But karma around truth always happiness. One day a serious lie is discovered. Client realizes numbers are manipulated. Colleague realizes their idea was stolen. Partner discovers that promises are hollow. Suddenly, doors that once opened easily become heavy. Unslanged. Jason thinks, why is my luck suddenly bad? He does not see that the roots were planted long ago in countless small dishonesties. He also makes mistakes, but he has a habit of being straightforward. He does not know something. He says, I do not know. If he fails, he admits it and tries to correct. He does not present himself as perfect. Over many years, This builds a reputation that cannot be bought with money. People think, if he says it, I can relax. If he signs, I can sleep. That kind of trust brings opportunities that are invisible to someone like Jason, even if Jason is more aggressive and louder. The fifth cause is your attitude toward others as success and suffering. Jason, deep down, believes life is a competition in which there is not enough good to go around. Someone around him does well. He feels frightened. He looks for reasons to put them down. Say just got lucky. He probably cheated. It will not last. When someone fails, he feels secretly pleased. Our fall makes him feel taller. His jealousy burns him from inside. Even on days when his own life is going well, seeing others rise fills him with discomfort. So he is never really at peace. He practices a different habit. When he sees someone succeed, he tries to feel genuine joy. Sometimes he has to push through jealousy to get there. You might think, if they can achieve this, it shows what is possible. If they use it well, he also grow in my own way. When he sees others in pain, he feels moved. He remembers times when he suffered and lets that memory open his heart instead of closing it. This is not just about being a good person. This is about building an inner atmosphere. If your heart is filled with jealousy and schadenfreude, your inner sky is always cloudy. If it is filled with appreciation and compassion, your sky has more room for light. The sixth cause is courage versus avoidance. Life constantly brings situations that are uncomfortable. Jason's habit is to avoid anything that is not immediately pleasant. Difficult conversations, facing his own faults, making long-term efforts without instant results, apologizing sincerely, even going to the doctor when something feels wrong. He postpones, distracts himself, escapes into entertainment, and tells himself, I will deal with it later. Every time he does this, the problem does not vanish. It grows quietly, years deepen, and resolved issues accumulate like unpaid bills. One day, everything crashes at once, and he says, why am I so unlucky that all these problems came together? He does not see that he sent them all invitations. He also feels fear and discomfort, but he has a habit of turning toward problems at least a little earlier. He still hesitates, but he pushes himself to have that difficult talk, to show up at that appointment, to cut that unhealthy pattern. He does not solve everything at once, but he does not keep putting it all under the rug. Because of this, his fate feels lighter. Problems are still there, but they are broken into smaller pieces earlier. The future does not have to bear the weight of so many unfinished tasks. The seventh cause is respect versus contempt. How you treat people with less power than you reveals your real character. When Jason deals with waiters, cleaners, junior colleagues, he often shows impatience and arrogance. He thinks that their job is to serve me. If something goes wrong, he scolds loudly, showing off his power. He does not realize that each act of disrespect is like writing a line in his karmic file. When he is the one in the weaker position one day, perhaps as a patient in a hospital, perhaps as an older person dependent on others, he will meet that same energy. Not because the universe is cruel, but because energy of disrespect naturally circulates back. He makes a point of greeting people politely. He thanks those who serve him. He does not assume that his role or income makes him more important, and he must complain. He does it firmly but without humiliation. He plants seeds of respect. Later in life, when he is vulnerable, he often meets unexpected kindness. Nurses are more patient. Strangers are more willing to help. Doors are opened with a smile. Eighth cause is responsibility versus blame. When something goes wrong, Jason's habit is to find someone to point at. It is the government's fault. Is my parents' fault? Is my boss's fault? Is my partner's fault? Is the universe's fault? This gives him a momentary relief. He feels righteous, but it robs him of the only real power he has. The power to see his part and change it. Because he is always busy blaming, he never examines his own patterns. As a result, he repeats them again and again. The same type of conflict, the same type of loss. He calls it bad luck. In reality, it is the karma of refusing responsibility. You acknowledges external factors too. He does not pretend everything is his fault, but he regularly asks, what is my part in this? What can I learn? What can I do differently next time? This habit keeps him close to the steering wheel of his life. He cannot control everything, but he can influence a lot. Over time, this life feels less like a random storm and more like a path he is actually walking. The ninth cause is inner cultivation versus complete neglect of the mind. Jason invests a lot in other things: nicer phone, newer car, better clothes, status symbols. He invests almost nothing in understanding his own mind. He does not observe his thoughts. He does not question his beliefs. He does not train his attention. So when strong emotions arise, he is at their mercy. Anger comes and he is anger. Fear comes and he is fear. Desire comes and he is desire. He does not have an internal seat from which to watch these visitors. He thinks, this is just fine. Because of this, small events can cause huge inner earthquakes. Criticism ruins his entire week. Delay feels like a personal attack. Loss feels like the end of the world. With no inner training, his destiny is constantly shaken from within. Eel, on the other hand, sets aside some time, even a small amount, to sit quietly, to observe his breath, to reflect, to meditate, to pray, to recite. He tries to train his mind to be a little more steady, a little more aware. He is not perfect. Thoughts still run wild. He is slowly building the habit of noticing them instead of instantly believing them. This gives him a space inside. In anger rises, Lee sometimes recognizes that this is anger moving through me and do not have to obey it completely. When fear rises, he can say, this is the mind trying to protect me. Let me see clearly whether the danger is real or exaggerated. That space is priceless. It means his destiny is less controlled by momentary storms. The 10th cause is whether you live only for yourself or for something larger. Jason's world is mostly his own circle, his comfort, his desires, his image, his plans. He occasionally helps others, but only when it conveniently fits his schedule or benefits him in some obvious way. It feels narrow. When pain comes, he has little sense of meaning beyond how can I escape this. When he succeeds, he quickly feels empty, because every achievement raises the question, now what? You, over time, has cultivated a sense of connection to something bigger, to the suffering of all beings, to the Dharma, to truth, to the idea that his life can be used as a small offering. He is not a famous hero, but he tries to live in a way that leaves some goodness behind wherever he goes. Because of this, his joys and pains both sit in a larger frame. When he suffers, he sometimes thinks, may this suffering deepen my understanding of others' suffering. He has become more compassionate because of this. When he succeeds, he thinks, how can I share this gain in some way? This does not magically erase his problems, but it fills his life with a quiet sense of direction. This fate is not only about what happens to me, but also about what I do with what happens. That difference alone can turn a heavy destiny into a meaningful one. If you look at Jason and Leah 20 or 30 years later, you will see that their lives have diverged. Jason might still claim, I am just unlucky. People are untrustworthy. Life isn't fair. But behind those sentences stand years of selfish intentions, harsh speech, tight fists, jealous thoughts, avoidance of responsibility, neglect of inner work. The universe is not punishing him. It is simply reflecting back the combination of seeds he has sown. You might also have gone through sickness, losses, disappointments. But when you look at his face, you will often see more softness than bitterness. People around him respect him, not just for what he has, but for who he has become. He himself feels that, despite difficulties, life has been strangely supportive. Doors opened when he truly needed them. Help appeared in unexpected ways. His heart, though scarred, feels lighter than when he was younger. From the outside, someone might say, he is just lucky. But in the language of karma, we would say his wholesome causes have matured into wholesome results. Of course, real life is more complex than a simple comparison between two people. We all have both Jason and Leo inside us. None of us are purely generous or purely selfish, purely honest or purely deceptive, purely courageous or purely evading. Our lives are mixtures of many seeds. Some of those seeds come from our upbringing, some from past conditioning, some from choices we have made under pressure. The important point is not to judge yourself as good or bad, but to recognize that these 10 kinds of causes are operating in your life right now. They are not abstract. They are in the way you talk to the waiter today, the way you react to your partner tonight, the way you interpret your setbacks this week, the way you spend and give your money this month, the way you treat your own mind every morning. If you feel that your life has been heavy and full of obstacles, it does not mean you are doomed. It may mean you are carrying old karmic seeds that are ripening now. But it also means that today, in this very moment, you can begin to plant new seeds. You cannot change the seeds that have already sprouted, but you can decide what you are planting now. You can choose to speak one less harmful sentence and one more kind one. You can choose to hold back one act of deceit and take one step toward honesty. You can choose to give a small amount, even if your mind screams, keep it all. You can choose to congratulate someone sincerely instead of secretly wishing they would fail. You can choose to take responsibility for one pattern instead of blaming others for everything. You can choose to spend 10 minutes training your mind instead of letting it rush unchecked all day. You can choose to remember that your life is connected to many others and live in a way that leaves a small trace of compassion behind. Every such choice is a cause. When repeated, it becomes a habit. When sustained, it becomes a destiny. Some people say, I have done good, but my life is still hard. So cause and effect must not be real. We must be careful there. First, sometimes the suffering you experience now is the ripening of old negative seeds, even while new good seeds are being planted. It is like a field where old thorns are blooming even as you plant new flowers. For a time, both exist side by side. You not dig up your new seeds just because the old thorns are still visible. Second, many forms of goodness are mixed, engaged while full of resentment, giving with the expectation of praise, speaking kindly in public but cruelly in private. All of these create complex karmic results. The universe is extremely precise, not simplistic. Third, some fruits ripen quickly, some slowly. Harsh word may bring quick visible consequences. A deeply rooted habit of kindness may ripen over many years, creating a network of support you only recognize when you look back. It may help to shift your focus from when will I get my reward to what kind of person am I becoming each day. Because in the end, the greatest blessing is not just external success or smoothness. The greatest blessing is a mind that is more peaceful, more loving, more free, regardless of outer conditions. If you cultivate these 10 wholesome causes, odds are high that your outer life will also gradually become smoother. People who trust and care about you will appear. Opportunities will knock. Crises will still come. But you will meet them differently. Even when the road is rough, you will feel less alone. The feeling of being supported by life often arises not from everything going perfectly, but from the sense that even in difficulty, there is meaning, and that the goodness you have planted continues to surround you in invisible ways. So, as we come to the end of this long reflection, I invite you to ask yourself quietly. In these 10 areas of intention, speech, generosity, honesty, attitude toward others is success and suffering, courage, respect, responsibility, inner cultivation, and living for something larger than yourself. Where do you feel you are planting wholesome seeds, and where do you feel you are planting harmful ones? Choose one area that stands out. Maybe you know your speech is often harsh. Maybe you know your jealousy burns you. Maybe you know you habitually avoid responsibility. Maybe you know you neglect your inner world entirely. And ask, what is one small new cause I am willing to plant today in this area? Next month, next year, today. It might be one apology you have been avoiding, one act of generosity you have postponed, one sentence of praise you have been too proud to say, one honest admission you have been running from, one 10-minute period of sitting quietly with your breath instead of drowning in noise. Whatever it is, do it, and do it again tomorrow, and again. Years from now, your future self will be living among the fruits of what you chose. It might be sitting in a house full of warmth and respect instead of coldness and fear. It might be surrounded by people who trust them instead of people who fear them. It might be lying on a hospital bed at the end of life, but with a heart that feels, I lived in a way that mattered. I planted what I cut, am not empty-handed. That future self is not a stranger. It is you, waiting at the end of this road, holding the harvest of your 10 kinds of cause and effect. If this sharing touched something in you, if you felt yourself recognized in Jason or Leo, and the heavy or light habits, I invite you to take a moment after listening to sit in quiet and make one sincere inner vow about the causes you want to plant from now on. And if you wish, you can share in the comments which area you most want to transform, not as a confession to be judged, but as a way of supporting others who are walking the same path. Often, seeing that we are not the only ones struggling with jealousy, anger, tiredness, or fear gives us courage. If this content helped you understand karma, destiny, and the power of your own choices a little more clearly, please subscribe, like, and share it with someone who often says, "Why is my life like this?" Your support helps this space stay alive as a small refuge for hearts who want not only to complain about fate, but to work with cause and effect consciously. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. May you gradually turn your 10 causes toward goodness. May your habits grow lighter, your speech kinder, your intentions clearer, your inner world more peaceful, and may your destiny quietly follow the direction of your awakened heart.
There are moments when you see something, and your heart simply whispers, "This one is meant for me." Bracelet carries more than beads. It carries intention, protection, and quiet strength. Something to guide your thoughts and keep your spirit steady. If you felt that gentle pull toward any of the bracelets shown, the purchase link is waiting in the description, and the full collection is displayed on our channel store. Follow your intuition. It rarely leads you wrong.